Well, hi and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. 40 days after Easter Sunday is the day we remember with a big word, Ascension Day. Simply put, it's the day that we remember Jesus going back to heaven. So let me put this into context for you. On Good Friday, Jesus was executed by the Romans and died. 3 days later, on the Sunday, Jesus rose to life again. Over the next few weeks, I guess I've told you some of the stories of what happened over that time. People who met with Jesus, ate meals with him, discovered that whilst he was still definitely Jesus, recognisably so, still had the marks of the execution on his body, but he was also somehow different. Definitely physically there with them, human, alive, and yet different in some undefinable way. All the Bible tells us that, in those days, Jesus met with hundreds of people. Within those 40 days, hundreds of people met him, saw him, ate with him. And his followers were starting to get the idea that they were now living in a new normal, to take a current phrase. But this turned out to be only temporary. There was something far bigger coming than simply Jesus rising from the dead. Jesus did spend some time trying to explain it to his closest friends. What he told them was that whilst he, Jesus, was still here on earth, he could basically only ever operate in one place. And that we should be able to understand that, can't we? You can only do things in the place that you are. Jesus had spent 3 years operating in this way, going around place to place, preaching, teaching people, healing people, and importantly teaching his disciples and showing his disciples what he was doing, and teaching them all about the way God intended the world to be and how people should really be living. Jesus taught them that the only way to restore a proper relationship between people and with God was for them to do so by coming to Jesus and ask Jesus to forgive them for the things they'd done wrong. Of course, things are different these days, aren't they? There are many individuals on this earth whose name and face is known by millions of people through TV, social media, other online services. You can even speak directly to billions of people all at once. Remember, this wasn't how it was when Jesus was here. Basically, if you weren't within earshot, you would never hear his voice. So if you wanted to spread a message, what you needed was more people equipped and able to go out and share that message for you. We'll find out a bit next week about how God equipped people and helped them to go out and do that. But Jesus said, first, I, Jesus, need to go. He told them that he would go back to heaven and do two things. First, he would send a helper to help them spread the good news. And second, he was going to start preparing heaven for everyone who was going to go there. So there on that 40th day after Easter, Jesus commissioned his friends to go out into every part of the world and spread the news, the message that Jesus had given them. Go and tell people that they can be saved from an eternity without God and instead come into a relationship with God and spend all eternity with God. Believe and be baptized were the words Jesus used. As the disciples were wondering however they might be able to do that, Jesus left them and went back to heaven. I don't know exactly what it was like, maybe rising up in the air. The Bible says he was lifted up and a cloud took him from their sight. However it was, the disciples, his friends, were left stunned. And then a couple of angels turned up and gave them a message. They told the disciples that Jesus would one day return in the same way that they had seen him go, but that no one would know when or where that was going to happen. And that's the story of the ascension of Jesus. I believe Jesus physically went into heaven and remains there to this day, physically there. One day, I believe he will return physically back to this world, and there will be a time when everything we know is brought to conclusion and the whole of creation is remade back to the perfection it had originally, and everyone who listened to Jesus' message, that all they need to do is recognise Jesus as the one who can save them and ask him for forgiveness, will be remade in the same indefinable way that Jesus was, and will spend the rest of forever with him in this new remade perfect world. We're partway through Thy Kingdom Come. I introduced it last week, a time of praying between Ascension and next Sunday, which has an even more strange name, Pentecost. I hope you're finding the Facebook posts we're putting out helpful. Do get in touch if you want to speak with us about it, or drop round. Get one of our Thy Kingdom Come journals if you'd like. We've got them here at 44 Lindbergh Road. Or take one of the augmented reality maps if you're a family and you want to see what that's all about. If you'd want to talk to someone about Jesus' ascension and what that might mean, again, drop us a line, knock on the door, we'll just call round one Sunday afternoon. God bless you.